And I send kind greetings to Atlanta. Hello to Euan McGlashan, co-founder and CEO of Valor Hospitality. How's it, Euan?
Hey, Nils, how are you?
I'm good. And you?
Good. Very well. Very well. But I say very well health-wise, but like the rest of the world, pretty depressed and despondent about the current situation. But I'm sure there's a lot of positives on the other side, which we're probably going to talk about today.
Yeah, well, let's see. But tell us, there might be some people who have not heard of Valor. What is Valor Hospitality and where do you operate?
Valor is effectively what people would term as a white label management company, as in we will manage for owners, whether it's individual hotels and resorts that are non-branded, or we work with IHG, Hilton, Marriott, and we operate those brands under a franchise scenario. And we're based out of Atlanta. That's where I started the business. But as you know well, being a personal family friend, I lived in South Africa for 11 years and moved to the States. Have had an interesting career, been managing director of multiple different projects, and saw the need for an operator like us that did everything from debt and equity raise through the due diligence, the underwriting, tech services, project management, pre-opening management, all the way to laser-focused management. And today we've got 55 plus projects around the world, where we have offices in Atlanta and Memphis in the US, Cape Town, as you know, London, and we recently opened up a Dubai office to service Middle East and an office in Bangkok to serve Asia.
Amazing how it's grown, isn't it? Tell me, let's stick with your new home, or not that new, but the US. The hotels, are they all open? Are they all closed? What's the situation there right now?
You know, that's one of the things that's been quite interesting as a global company is seeing the different regions and who's open, who's closed, how the governments are responding with stimulus packages, etc. And every one is fundamentally different. US, I would imagine, and from what I've seen, is probably the more liberal, not quite as liberal as Sweden, who in my opinion have managed this absolutely perfectly. But we are not in full lockdown. We were still allowed to move around, and our hotels actually never formally closed, nor were they mandated to be closed. So all of the properties of which we've got, and actually it's a tough number because we've got 8 under construction, 2 that literally just opened pre-COVID, which wasn't great timing. And some of the others, we were mandated for the crews to leave the site, but literally for 4 or 5 days. So those projects are still going ahead. But, you know, of the kind of 15 to 20 projects, they're all open today and just doing effectively single-digit occupancy. Other than we have a big resort project down on the Gulf Coast, which is staying relatively busy, especially from this weekend, and ran about 75% occupancy, but with limited food and beverage. So we're at different stages here in the US, but everything is opening, and airlines are slowly starting to fly again, albeit I think 5 or 10% capacity and just a few select flights a day.
Now, the US does have a very large domestic market, and everybody that I've been speaking to for the last few weeks said that this is the one to first recover. That's the case, isn't it?
It depends how you define recovery. I would say yes. That's probably a fair statement. UK is probably 3 or 4 weeks behind us. South Africa, you're there. You've seen what's happening now with this 5-level reopening, right. And then Asia is still in lockdown, and it's anybody's guess as to when they'll. When I say Asia, actually, let me be more specific, because China, by all accounts, is back and open for trading relatively strongly. But we're based in Thailand. Thailand is still very much in lockdown. The problem they have is not dissimilar, though, to South Africa, that there really is no government stimulus, and the dangers there are more people dying from starvation. There's a lot of poverty in Thailand. So yeah, I think overall the US situation is clearly better than everywhere else. and is getting back up and open. But I would suggest that it's probably at the end of fall, August, September, before we're really back up and running at any kind of level that we're happy with.
Right. Now tell me, what things have you implemented? There are people who are talking about working through Corona, working after Corona, the hotel room of the future. All these discussions are taking place right now in the properties that are open. How have you tried to mitigate the situation? How have you tried to make guests feel at ease? Because I'm sure some of the travelers are at least a little bit concerned about their safety or health.
Yeah, look, it's interesting. You know, being a global company, it's been great because all the regions share information with each other literally multiple times a day. So the programs that we've put together to get reopened, whether it's on the cleaning and housekeeping side, where clearly everybody's focused, and then on the food and beverage service side, we've got multiple levels of action plans and files that we share centrally. And then remember, a lot of what we're doing is franchised. So Hilton, IHG, Marriott all have their own set of guidelines that they've slowly come out with. I think the most recent was this Clean Stay by Hilton, where they've actually partnered with Lysol and Dettol, and really everything centers around deep cleaning of hard surfaces, staff wearing masks, in some cases gloves. It's this 6 feet or 2 meters of separation. I mean, really, there's not much to say. Yes, we get into a lot of minutiae, and you know, as we move into food and beverage, it's the spacing of tables, it's how food handling is carried out. But I think you'd be shocked. There is a certain amount of guest paranoia, but certainly from what we're seeing, that's about 10% of the people. The other 90%, they look. I think they're definitely cautious. There's definitely a caution around standing too close to people that are coughing or sneezing, and there's definitely an aversion to touching too many surfaces, and then you know there's this constant hand washing and hand sanitizer. But I'm a firm believer that society, when they feel safe, are going to fight back against this. And you know, everybody keeps talking about this new normal and this constant social distancing, and this could go on for years. I personally, and it's a personal opinion, I don't believe that. I don't think that's going to happen. I think within a year, maybe less, I think people will get very sick of social distancing and wearing masks and gloves, and they may still be careful about touching of surfaces and washing hands, etc. But I just think that we're too, as a population globally, we're just too interconnected and too interdependent on each other that we can't survive in a world like that, and I don't see it for long. But certainly right now, we're following all the guidelines. Like I say, we have files for Africa come bouncing out of our computers with
for Africa from Africa.
For Africa from Africa, and the African teams have done an amazing job actually. So when we've combined all the regions, there's literally thousands of items and guidelines that we're working off as a company.
Now tell me in closing, because unfortunately time is always against me here. What on a societal, but maybe also on a business level, what would you take out as a positive? Because I think we're so deep down the dumps that we need to look for a silver lining somewhere, and we need to look at something positive that we take out of this. What would Valor say is the positive aspect that we might take out of this crisis once it's over?
Yeah, look, it's a good question. I'm a very positive person by nature anyway. So other than the immediate fallout from the first 2, 3, 4 weeks, where I was with the rest of the team very focused on mitigating the hemorrhaging, I then refocused myself on what does business, not what the world looks like, because I don't have a crystal ball, and I'd be a multi-millionaire if I did. But what does business opportunities look like for us on the backside of this? And I think for groups like us that are third-party managers under franchise scenarios, I think there's going to be a massive amount of opportunity, and we're already seeing that in Africa. As you know, we got the master development agreement with IHG for sub-Saharan Southern Africa. We're seeing a lot of our clients on the private equity side that clearly still have the financial bandwidth and capability that are looking to invest. There's going to be a lot of fallout, sadly. So we would look to align with a lot of those private equity partners to buy, to purchase, help them as we do to purchase portfolios or single assets.
Right.
And candidly, and good news, I mean, even just in the US, two of my team are flying to Denver today, because during this I've been working with a client in Denver, and we've just actually taken over a management company that was already seeing distress in the Denver market, and we've taken them over and assumed 7 new management contracts to help those 7 hotels get out of COVID and then work through this new world. And look, again, is it going to be tough for the next 3 to 6 months? Absolutely. You know, people talk about a U recovery, a V recovery, a W. Who knows? But I do think there's going to be a lot of pent-up demand, and I think what we'll see transient corporate, transient leisure come back first. I think then social groups will be next to come back, and I think business meetings and big conventions, etc., will take a big hit, but eventually they'll return as well. So we'll come out of this. We'll all come out of it stronger. No major event in the world has never not seen recovery, and we'll see recovery from this. It's just a miserable time for us all right now.
Euan, great. Thank you so much for that positive outlook. As you say, there will be losers, but there will also be winners. There will be opportunities, and we will make it out. Thank you for your time.
Well, we'll try and take as few losers as possible, because we're a no person left behind policy at Valor. So we don't want to see too many people lose from this.
There you go. Thank you so much, Euan. All the best, and chat very soon. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks, Nils.